What is happening, guys? Martin is back again. You know where we are, so let's get into it. So, guys, hope everyone's doing well out there, getting ready for the Christmas season. You know what's going on. Not everybody celebrates it, but obviously, just enjoy your time, guys. Take it easy. Don't go crazy in this particular spending spree that always seems to take place at this time of year. Anyway, guys, so this is just a very quick message and a very quick, I say, video for those that are interested. And the ultimate thing is sometimes buying cheap fragrances, you actually end up spending more. And obviously, guys, for those that see like the back history of my channel, you can see what I was focusing on fragrance wise. You can see what I was talking about. A lot of these fragrances are very cheap to some extent in comparison to the world of fragrances. And then it started to get along the side of things getting slightly more expensive. So just by way of example, guys, I'm just going to do a quick quote that I can see from this John Ruskin. You guys can check this out yourself. And he's saying from the quote, and I do quote, "It's unwise to pay too much, but it's worse to pay too little. When you pay too much, you lose a little money. That's all. When you pay too little, sometimes you lose everything because the thing you bought was incapable of doing the thing it was bought to do. The common law of business balance prohibits paying a little and getting a lot. It can be done. If you deal with the lowest bidder, it is well to add something for the risk you run. And if you do that, you will have enough to pay for something better." So take from that what you want, guys. But at the end of the day, sometimes, and I say we talk about it all day long, buying cheaper fragrances, there's nothing wrong with it. I don't feel there's anything necessarily wrong with it. But one thing I've found, guys, I've actually ended up spending more on cheaper fragrances, having loads of fragrances, than actually having one key fragrance which I really enjoy that I make last for a long time. Now, I know somebody mentioned in a previous video about a lot of my fragrances seem like they don't have that much juice in it. But to be honest, what a lot of my fragrances I've had for years. So for instance, Versace Eros. This is a 200ml that I bought, I think at the time from Amazon. This was lying about £50. You're talking like nearly 2-3 years ago when I bought this one. And it's still fresh, it's still doing its job for me. I don't wear this obviously that often. Now we get into the cold season, this won't necessarily be appropriate. But for me, this has lasted me a long time. I really enjoy the fragrance, and you can see how much juice I have left in this one. So it's not a case of saying that don't necessarily buy cheap fragrances, but the point I'm trying to make and trying to highlight is there's a problem I think that you can start to get into where effectively no fragrance will ever be enough. And you keep buying, or you can fall into the trap at least of buying cheaper fragrances, feeling that you need to get the next one, the next one, the next one. It's only £10, it's only £10. And I'm realizing more so that this is also a marketing tactic as well. For those that may not necessarily realize what's happening, I think to some extent, and this is probably my theory, you guys let me know, this is just general talk. I think fragrances now, and especially for the cheaper fragrances, are purposely made slightly inferior to some extent. Because if you spend the time to go and buy one fragrance, and this won't necessarily work on everyone, but this is my theory. If you spend time to go and buy one fragrance, you think, oh, it's just missing, it's just missing, it's just missing. Then you go and buy the next fragrance. Oh, it's just missing, it's just missing. Some ingredient, some reason, sillage, longevity, something maybe. It's just missing something. You can keep on the cycle of finding the one that's just missing, just missing, just missing until you get the right one. But really, what is the right one? And by the time you realize this is the right one for me, you've probably spent nearly over £100 plus €100, €150, who knows, buying multiple amounts of fragrances rather than saying, I'm going to buy one fragrance that I enjoy. I'm going to stick with this one fragrance. I paid, not this one exactly, but just say you paid, say for instance, £50-60 for this one. You're happy with it. You make this last, and until the bottle finishes, you don't spend anymore. And also, one of the issues I think that now I'm realizing also with these cheaper fragrances, if you are buying a fragrance and you expect too much from the fragrance, that's one thing. But you can't go into buying these cheaper fragrances thinking that you're going to get everything all encapsulated in that one fragrance, all the compliments in that one fragrance. You're going to get everything from that one fragrance. But at the same time, is that really value for money? And I think that's the problem. We can not necessarily being cheap, but if you take the view that you're just going to get cheaper fragrances, again, as that quote was just mentioning, you're not necessarily getting what you've purchased it for. If I'm buying a fragrance, say for instance from Etiba, this is a very old bottle I've had, but it lasted for I don't know how long now. This has lasted me for quite a few years. Etiba. Very good fragrance. This is a Middle Eastern type of fragrance, but it smells like blackcurrant to me. This is a fragrance which has lasted me so long. It's 100 ml. I've sprayed this. I've got a lot of compliments, and it's done what I wanted it to do. But this wasn't a cheap fragrance. This fragrance cost me probably around 50, 60 pounds at the time I bought it. You probably get it cheaper now, I don't know. By the time I bought it, you can see how long I've had it. The actual back is peeling off. But this one did its job. And I think, again, sometimes if you buy a fragrance and you actually value the fragrance a little bit more, you're going to get more of it, I think. Maybe psychologically it's one thing, but I think where the question I have now is really, where does it all end? Where does it stop? If we keep buying fragrances, I've spent probably on Zara fragrances alone, well over, I think in the whole collection is like nearly £300 worth of fragrances, £300 worth plus, probably. If you work out each bottle's roughly around £10 each, I have quite a lot, so it's probably over £300 worth, easily. Whereas maybe, for instance, something like this, for example, I mentioned this one before. So this one may cost Strong With You. This is only probably 50 ml, and this is costing me maybe around 40, 50 pounds. I don't really go and purchase that many bottles of this one because I make it last. And that's the thing as well. And maybe I cherish it a little bit more because it had more value to me. And I don't want to necessarily waste my money keep buying the same fragrance. Whereas obviously, as you say, the cheaper fragrances, the marketing strategy is a little bit different, I think. And I think the purpose is make it slightly inferior. So you're going to keep buying different fragrances, looking for this elusive. Because the minute they bring out a fragrance which is a fully complete fragrance, to some extent, you could say there's no need for me to keep buying these other fragrances and just focus on that fragrance. So in a way, those companies can actually lose money. So I think as it stands now, guys, there are loads of different discount stores out there. There's loads of things, Fragrance X, Fragrance Net, all this different stuff going on. Go and check them out. You don't necessarily have to be cheap with fragrances, but I do think if you just focus just on cheap fragrances, if your focal point is only the price point and you're not looking for longevity, I think you could be doing yourself a disservice. Don't get me wrong, there are fragrances out there that may work for you and that's enough and you've only spent half of the price. But equally, I found more so that sometimes you do get what you pay for with these things, and quality and quantity are two different things. Sometimes it's better to pay a little bit more if you can afford it, a little bit of a premium, and get that quality rather than having multiple fragrances based on quantity, but the actual quality of it is very sparse. You have nothing to go by. So that was my quick rant on that one, guys. I do feel like it does start adding up and you need to be conscious of it. I'm more conscious of it now than ever before. Be conscious of it with these cheaper fragrances because you could keep buying fragrances and again, there's always something else. Where if I've spent £56 on a fragrance, trust me, say for instance, this Dior Sauvage, this has lasted me for nearly 3 years and this is a 60 ml and this is only now starting to finish. I don't know if you can see the juice in that. Only now starting to finish. I've made this one last and it's done the job for me. Will I buy another bottle of this one? Maybe at some point, but I'm not in any rush because again, it's about cost, value for money, and obviously me working out, actually, do I really want to spend 50, 60 pounds on a fragrance and take the view that I really enjoy it or not. And if I don't really enjoy the fragrance, I don't need to necessarily go and buy another bottle. Whereas obviously some of the Zara fragrances, we keep buying, next one. And after a while, they've got your money. You don't realize it, they've got your money. So that's what I'm going to say, guys. I think sometimes it's better to focus on quality rather than quantity. A lot of these little fragrances we buy, maybe it's just to pass the time, maybe it's just for the new buzz. But at the same time, guys, keep an eye on it because it's actually start costing you in your pocket. So that's just my thoughts on that. That's some general thoughts. By all means, guys, let me know down below in your comments below. What's the most you've actually spent on the fragrance in a week? I think probably in a week, I probably spent quite easily well over £200 in 1 week on fragrances, if not maybe £300 over in 1 week on fragrances. And again, these little fragrances are just to get us to the point that we get the big fragrance. But entirely your decision, guys. You know what you do with your money. But as I keep saying, if you can't pay your light bill, it means nothing at all to have these fragrances. So you let me know, guys. Do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. By all means, the channel is growing. I do appreciate your comments, and also I do appreciate that you do give the channel a like and a thumbs up when you can, because obviously that helps the algorithm and it helps me grow. And as I keep saying, guys, as long as the channel keeps growing, it gives me more opportunities to actually use this AdSense and this revenue to go and purchase new fragrances. If there's something you want me to review, guys, by all means, let me know in the comments down below. If there's something that I need to touch on, by all means, let me know, guys, and we'll go from there. Hopefully see you soon in the next video. This was a quick rant and get this one going. Ciao.